Rapper Blueface was arrested for attempted murder. Let's get into the details. My name is Jamahl Kersey, and I'm the principal attorney at Kersey Law, a boutique criminal defense firm in San Diego, California. And in this video, we're talking about Blueface getting arrested. Now, TMZ posted a video of rapper Blueface, whose real name is Johnathan Porter, getting arrested by Vegas Metropolitan Police Officers on November 15th. Now, Blueface was just sitting down looking at his phone outside of Lolo's Chicken and Waffles in Vegas when plainclothes officers creep up on him and basically take him to the ground and arrest him. Now, to the extent anyone thinks the police were out of line here, the reality is Blueface, as we'll see ahead, was seen on camera shooting at a moving, occupied vehicle. So the police had every reason to consider him as armed and dangerous, and so it's just not at all surprising that they would come after him this way, versus having uniformed officers try and approach him like, excuse me, Mr. Blueface. Yet that's just not happening here. So the police had a warrant for Blueface's arrest, and eyewitness accounts indicate that 6 to 8 officers were involved in this arrest, and they were moving around in unmarked cars. Now, what led to this arrest was an incident that took place on October 8th. Of course, TMZ had the footage. It appears to be security camera footage that captured this incident. And when you have a shooting, the first thing that homicide detectives are going to be looking for are eyewitnesses. So did anyone see anything? Did you hear anything? And they're also going to be looking at local businesses that might have surveillance cameras like the footage we're going to see here. So you're going to see Blueface walk into the frame, which is probably just him exiting the establishment where this camera is placed. And there's a number of people who are just sort of milling about, hanging around, and then you're going to see Blueface cross the street towards the white car on the other side of the street. Now, again, people are just sort of hanging around and walking around the area, and it's kind of hard to make out what exactly is going on, especially since there's no audio and there's no context to, what's actually going on. So eventually a pickup truck pulls up and stops. A guy runs towards the pickup, and it looks like he's reaching for something in his waist area as he approaches. So the driver of the truck, presumably seeing this, starts to take off. You then see Blueface pointing a handgun towards the pickup truck, and then there are at least 2 muzzle flashes, meaning that the gun has been fired. He then steps back, he raises the gun again, but doesn't appear to fire the gun again. And so there you have it. Blueface basically is caught on camera shooting into an occupied vehicle, or at least shooting towards it, right? And so as a result of this incident, Blueface is being charged with felony attempted murder with the use of a deadly firearm. And so in order to be found guilty of attempted murder, there's 3 elements the prosecutor has to prove. Number 1, you had the intent to kill the victim. Number 2, you took at least 1 direct step towards accomplishing the killing. And number 3, the victim did not die, because obviously if the victim did die, then that would be murder and not attempted murder. And so one of the issues that might come up in this case is whether Blueface actually had the intent to kill. It's one thing if you have someone, standing right in front of you and you shoot them at point blank range, because, at that point it'd be nearly impossible to argue that you didn't have the intent to kill. We know if you shoot somebody at point blank range, you're likely going to cause pretty fatal damage, and that's unless you shoot at either their foot or their leg. But shooting into a vehicle, that's a bit more of a gray area, right? But prosecutors will often argue in these situations that a person did in fact have intent to kill, because what else would you be trying to do in that situation? When you're shooting into a moving vehicle, you know very well that you could hit a person in the head, in a vital organ, or, cause the driver to crash. And so the driver and whomever else might be in the vehicle are at high risk of, serious bodily injury or death. And so I would imagine that the DA will absolutely argue that Blueface in this situation acted with the intent to kill. Now, in Nevada, attempted murder carries a sentence of 2 to 20 years in state prison. But when you use a deadly weapon, like in this case, a handgun, the judge can impose an additional 1 to 20 years. Now, an attempted murder does not always have to involve a deadly weapon. Let's say if you were trying to choke somebody to death, you aren't necessarily using a deadly weapon. But if you do use a deadly weapon, then you're looking at a serious serious enhancement. Now, the judge also has the option of imposing a 1 to 20 year enhancement if the person was acting on behalf of a gang. And I don't know if this was a gang-related incident or anything like that, but nonetheless, given the actual charge itself and the potential enhancement for the use of a deadly weapon, Blueface is definitely facing some serious time here. As for defenses to an attempted murder charge, the primary arguments are self-defense. So if you are placed in legitimate fear of great bodily injury or death, you are legally permitted to use deadly force to defend yourself. The other primary arguments are that you either lacked intent to kill or you didn't actually attempt to kill a person. But we'll eventually see what the defense strategy is in this case. Blueface's bail has already been set at $50,000, and quite frankly, that's light money for the rapper whose net worth is stated to be around $4 to $5 million. I'd imagine that by now he's already back on the streets. Blueface is looking at a lot of time, and we'll see just how this case plays out. So if you got something out of this, please show me some love and hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the notifications button so you never miss a new video when it drops. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.